cheating is okay, right?
Dude, I've had husbands send their wives to my house. No pressure. Your wife's 10 feet away, all right? I could have sons that turn out to be gay. I'm fine with that, bro.
Really?
What's your beef with that?
But did Andrew get work done?
His buddies are calling him a homo.
Yo, I'm a pussy with the women. I gotta like figure this out.
And you're a coward. Dude, if I was a chick, the first thing I'd do is get a big-ass boob job. But you think you're going to live this playboy life like you're Donald Trump or some shit? Dude, you're not.
He has multiple children with multiple wives. I don't know if you can confirm or deny.
I kind of agree with that. There's going to be a side of Andrew that people see when all of this is over.
All right, so Justin, JWaller, welcome to Marbella, man.
Glad to be here, bro.
So how do you, we gotta do that again.
That was such a white boy
we
handshake.
gotta do
All right, let's just keep it white. Just the straight shake.
All right, Justin, JWaller,
Hey,
welcome
man.
to Marbella, man. I'm curious because you live in Miami.
I do.
How do you compare Marbella to Miami? Because we've been obsessed with it since we've been here.
I hate to say this. I sent a text message to somebody yesterday. I said, I think I'm in love. I like Spain just as much as anywhere I've been, and that's including Dubai. You know what I like about it? It's imperfect, right? Like everything that's imperfect about it is like kind of what makes it beautiful. The stone streets, you know, you can tell it's old, but it's not old dingy. It's old kind of European.
Yeah, the nice old European.
It's just, bro, it's just beautiful, man. It's just like the hotel out there. I was telling you, man, that's the most beautiful hotel I've ever stayed in my life. Unbelievable.
You're about to make me go stay at the hotel that I can see from my balcony.
I will pay for the staycation myself because I'll be like, I told you, bro. It's incredible. You can see it from here, man, but being in it is incredible. We went on a car rally last year, and we started in England, and we went down through Paris. We did Portugal, Spain, everything, right? And that was my favorite one of any car rally I've ever been on in Europe. It's just stunning, bro.
There's something special about Marbella because I grew up in between Boston and Spain, but I was in Seville, which is like, it's still southern Spain, but it's maybe a 2-hour drive north of here. And it's like that's like you think like flamenco, old Spanish city.
Right.
But I never wanted to live there. Then me and Julia came here the first time like a year ago. And it was almost like the clock started ticking down from that moment. It's like, how do we figure out like the businesses, the taxes, the dogs? How do we figure out how we like actually live here?
Right.
And then now we're here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, as an American citizen, you're still American? Are you?
Yeah, I got both. Because if you get them from birth, you can have both.
Right, but you still have to pay taxes as American?
Yeah, unless you give up the passport, you got to pay taxes.
They're making that hard.
Yeah.
They're making that hard, man.
Yeah.
So that's a tough decision, man. But I got to tell you, as far as pure beauty, like we were talking about before, California, except in a completely different place, completely different vibe, completely safe. We wear watches. Man, I've really enjoyed it.
California without the homeless people, without a lot of like the wokeness that's gotten started there, man. Not that Europe doesn't have it, but because Marbella is so international and you just have like people from different parts of Europe coming, they're not like the woke people, right? So it's worked out well, I think.
Exactly. You know what? It really slammed home with me sometime last year. It's like people that do well end up just moving seasonally based off vacation. Yeah. And that was a new thought to me, even though it's not a new thought at all.
Well, I mean, you chose to live in Miami.
Yeah, I did. But that was more like an opportunity thing for me when I did it. Now I'm more thinking through the lens of, I could spend my winters in Dubai, at my house in Dubai, and then maybe get a place here and go that route. Because
there's a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, I'm completely seeing it now.
And there's people, a lot of them are Europeans who don't have the American tax liability, so they'll stay in Dubai for like 6 months and one day, pay no taxes, and come here for less than half the year. But if you're an American citizen, then it messes everything up for you. It fucks everything up for you. Well, I wanted to say quick because I think that we first connected. I made a video last year. I think it was called "Red Pill Alpha Males Need to Stop." Right? It was
you put me and Tate on it.
You and Tate were on there.
Yeah.
And this was right when Tate started getting a lot of the heat from people like Philion. Like it was before he went like mainstream.
Philion made a video about me too.
Yeah, and I like to do it where I presented it like I was also gonna be shitting on you guys, but then I basically agreed with everything you guys said in the video. But I'm curious, what was your thoughts when you saw that video?
I thought it was cool, man. Like I've had people do hit videos on me.
Yeah.
For me to be so new to the space and have somebody as big as you make a video, like, dude, make another one. You know what I'm saying? But I did watch the video. Somebody sent it to me. Yeah. And I already knew who you were. I'm like, so yeah, I was definitely going to watch it. And I watched it. I'm like, cool. Clickbait, thumbnail. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, man, it's like, I didn't flinch on it, at all. So I knew that we'd probably end up getting together one day or another. So I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, man. Sure, I think the one thing I gave you shit for in the video, because I had to give you shit for something.
Yeah, please.
Was you in one of your videos you said like, look, if I'm dating a girl, I'm gonna tell her don't open any doors. If you get to the door, you wait, I'll open the door for you.
Yeah.
Is that something you do?
Yeah. I'm very serious about that because it sets a masculine frame in a gentlemanly way.
Okay.
And so I'm very intentful about that. It's like, hey, and I say it very seriously. It's like, hey, don't open doors around me. I'm very serious.
Is that like first date?
Yeah, first date. First date. And because it's in a very masculine way saying, I want to treat you like a lady. And I'll never back off of that. So what's your beef with that, by the way?
Julia, by the way, you ever come out here, you don't open that door until I open it.
Well, look, here's the thing, bro. She's never going to beat me to the door anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're on it, right?
No, I mean, well, it's like, so let's say the first few months of dating, you're always kind of like showing up to the same place at the same time, entering doors at the same time. But I feel like maybe there's a little bit of an expiration date on it, where it's
maybe so. Yeah. But it's also kind of a playful joke.
Yeah.
But it's coming from it's coming from here, and I think every woman wants to feel safe or some kind of like, being inside a frame of something masculine that way. And that's my main purpose of saying that. So,
well, you know what? I think now they get more content. And this is the problem with like a hit video, but not that was a hit video, but this is the problem when you react to clips of people.
Why do you keep making hit videos about me, bro?
When you react to clips of people, this is the whole issue, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't have to, now I hear the context. I'm like, it's not that ridiculous.
It's never, you're exactly right. I mean, like, look what they can do anything. I mean, literally, they could take the podcast we're doing right now and turn it into whatever they want.
It's scary. And then now they got deep fakes, so it doesn't even matter if we said it or not, right? We can still say it. So, look, you seem like a whiskey guy to me.
Oh, shit.
You want to do a little whiskey?
Let's do it, man.
All right, Julie.
With you, I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it for sure.
All I've had today is coffee, so I'm mixing this coffee and whiskey on empty stomach.
Let's do it.
All right.
Awesome.
I don't even know. Do you just twist these off? I'm about to embarrass myself here.
No, man, you're good.
You gotta take this off first? Well, here, while I...
Just so you know,
yeah,
I think this is the first alcohol I've had in Spain, so good times. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a... Do you not drink at all?
No, I know. But the problem is, the last 3 years, I've drank more than I drank in my whole life.
Julie, can you figure this out and bring it back?
Being friends with Tristan Tate is tough.
He drinks a lot?
Bro, he is if there was an Olympic event for drinking, he would be...
He's one of those guys.
World champion.
Yeah.
No, he can just do it, man.
But he'll hold it, yeah.
He can hold it. Yeah. He's a very big man, but he can just hold it like nobody I've ever seen.
How are the Tate brothers doing? Because I know you're friends with them. They're in house arrest now in Romania.
Yeah, they're doing well, man. They're great. They're great, man. Doing well, strong. Yeah. Mind straight. Not surprised at all.
Yeah.
They're doing really well. Yeah. But yeah, man, like Tristan, man, he can just drink. And when he finishes his drink, he'll look at you and he'll go, and it's just on. So, too much ego maybe, but yeah, I'm trying to. And the cigars, bro.
I almost brought cigars as well, because I definitely seen you smoking cigars before. Bro, but I was like, I don't think I can do whiskey and cigars first thing in the morning.
Dude, it's funny.
I'll let you pour.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I have looked at it and I said, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna age myself 20 years. So I have to watch it, man.
Yeah, I think I'm just someone who, like, the days I drink, the next day I don't sleep as well. I kind of wake up warm during the night. I wake up the next day, don't do as much.
I think that bottle might be in the camera.
Oh, let's not do that. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. They don't need like free advertisement as well. It's all good. So speaking of Tate, also cheers.
Yeah, for sure.
A little whiskey on the rocks to start the day.
It's breakfast of champions, right?
For two guys who don't drink too much. Speaking of Tate, I think he's been like a overwhelmingly force for good, because there's so many kids of the newer generation. Like, I think self-improvement's like penetrating like a younger and younger and younger demographic, which is like a really good thing, right? And Tate's like main message is like full responsibility, take control of your life, don't be a bitch, put in the work, and it's all good things. I think an unintended consequence is there's a young demographic of guys who have somehow kind of misconstrued the message to thinking that like females equal bad. I need to like just avoid females, hate on females, look at them as like a force of evil.
Yeah. I think Andrew has done what he needs to do to get the attention of young men. And I think the space as a whole kind of have put women in that way. I just went on Pearly Things. I don't know if you know the channel. She has 1.5 million.
Yep.
And I went deep into how I think a man should treat a woman. And everything that I said, Tate would align with completely. And it was about the other side of being like a big boss, a big G, right? It was be loving, be caring. And he is all of those things. And I suspect that one thing that he might show a little bit more of when all of this is over is that wonderful side of him. You know, that side that's actually there, that side of him that is very much there in real life. He's good at marketing. We have to give him that.
Oh, the best.
So he's got, so it's like sell them what they want, give them what they need. And I believe that about him. And then also I believe if you look at shows like, let's say like FNF, right?
Yep.
And you have a guy, let's say soft. If you take him all the way to the extreme of where FNF goes, more than likely he's going to balance somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's where he's going to be. And so a lot of these guys in the space, I think, you know, go hard sometimes, but overall, I think the net effect, the net effect of the average, especially of a young man that's intelligent enough to know that it's internet talk, is going to benefit from it actually in a better way. And for that reason, I think the women do. I made a tweet earlier this year. I say you build strong men for women, not in spite of them. And I really believe that. And I think that's ultimately what Andrew wants to do. He doesn't, I can tell you, he loves women. And I've never seen him treat a woman poorly, ever. So I think there's going to be a side of Andrew that people see when all of this is over that is really going to bring it full circle. I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of great things in him that still nobody's seen yet.
So you're saying it's like,
and of course I'm biased.
No, of course.
Right, it's my boy. Yeah.
No, of course. And I would expect you to defend him. But like anything in life, there's a yin and a yang, you're saying. And he's leaned more on the overly aggressive side. Right. To build, I mean, again, you can't argue with the marketing plan. Yeah. He's executed it better than maybe too well. So now he's was arrested for nothing, right? But but now you think that he has that base and he could say whatever at this point is still maintain attention. Maybe we'll see something different.
He's very calculated. Now he has the eyes, and I think that he can do what he needs to do to really level out any young man that's taking it too far. I do believe that any young man that thinks that he's gonna act a certain way before he is that certain person. You know, if you're a young guy and you get in a position where you're like Andrew, you're not going to act like that anyway because you don't have to. Yeah. You know, so I think he knows what he's doing. He's very calculated, and he accomplished what he was after, and I suspect the next part of his message will be calculated as well, and always for the good. Okay. No, and I think it's a general in my life, and I think I see it in a lot of other guys' lives where like we first come to life with like this. Romanticized lens, right, of dating, and then we get hurt, or we just don't get any attention at all, and still get hurt. And then I think from there, maybe it's more natural to swing to the more extreme red pill, we could call it. The rage. The rage. Now you're angry that you can't get and hold like the type of women that you want, and you're maybe bitter to those women, bitter towards the guys who are able to get them. And then hopefully you're kind of able to move into like a middle path where you have like a grounded understanding of like what's realistic versus what's not realistic, but not needing to like, you can see an attractive girl, be like, oh, that's an attractive girl. Not like, oh my God, that's my dream girl. Or like, she's probably a slut. Like, right. You can kind of just see her, you can see her for what she is and be like, all right, maybe I'll get to know more and then see what happens. So that was the other thing about Tate is that, he's helping young men and he's helping them on the average. Right. But if you really, really look at it, he has a huge following of women. And I think that him getting loud and boisterous about the promiscuity of women is really helping level women out, because what woman doesn't want a man at that level, right? So they respect him, they look at him, and they see him saying these things, and they think to themselves, okay, maybe that Instagram post is something I shouldn't make. Maybe I shouldn't do the OnlyFans account. Maybe I shouldn't talk or try to be as masculine as I am, especially like when you have women that are kind of leaning hard into feminism. I think often those women just have not found a man they really want to get behind. And so for that reason, I think that Andrew is really helping women in a lot of ways as well. So through creating stronger men, but also through balancing out what they're being told is right and wrong. Yeah, so women's ability to accept in a masculine frame, because if you look at it, honestly, at our core, what we really are, I don't think women want to be men as much as they might lead on, especially now. They've been hearing the message a lot repeatedly. And again, now at least they can hear both sides of the story. And maybe they're a bit closed off at first to Tate's message, but if it spreads, perhaps that it can get through especially a little bit. If they accidentally get into long form content, then you get to see the more charming side of the person. And we're using Andrew as a placeholder, but like any woman that can accept femininity and see somebody like Tate say these things and say, okay, well, I kind of agree with that, or I agree with this thing, and for that reason I'll listen to what he's saying about the way women are acting and how he might call it haram or whatever he calls it, right? But by and largely, if he's helping women in this way, he's also helping the family unit on the macro, at least by letting women see that point of view when they respect him and thinking deeply about the decisions they make or how they want to feel inside, which I think is a narrative that is actually coming down now from the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all those places, which we all know would be probably the elites in some way.
Yeah. Who knows what the motivations there are, but at least Well,
I feel like if you divide men and women, you have twice as many taxpayers.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that argument, and it could be that because I think at least something that's came through the post-COVID era has been a deep distrust in government, at least at people below maybe 50 years old, right?
Right. Yeah.
Where I think that it's not a good thing because ideally there wouldn't be this problem in the first place, but it's a good thing the more people seem to be kind of aware and attuned to it. But I got a question for you on Tate because I've heard that he has multiple children with multiple wives. I don't know if you can confirm or deny.
I wouldn't know, bro.
Okay.
Me talk to Tate? Come on, bro. I have no idea.
But now I've heard multiple guys, and we call it the red pill space, kind of like adopt this philosophy that's the future that they would like to see. Like both of us talked to CEO of Testosterone on his like live stream. He's a good dude.
Good guy.
Yeah. And something he was talking about with me is like that's what his ideal future would be now. Like multiple kids with multiple wives. And for me, we can get into it. I don't quite fully understand it, or it doesn't seem like would be right for me. But I'm curious. Let's start. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay. Well, no pressure. Your wife's 10 feet away.
Nah, real quick. If you're serious about taking your life to the next level as a man, then make sure you click the subscribe button right now and turn notifications on so you do not miss out on future guests. Now, let's get back to the episode.
What I would say is what we were talking about earlier before the show started on this subject is, how that could be a logistical problem, how it wasn't practical, might not be practical for you. And what I would say to that is that, like, if you look at the average, let's say, American Christian that gets married, they're doing it anyway. They get married, they get divorced, they turn around, get married again. Now they have this weird co-parenting situation where there's all this argument and fighting, most of the time over the male ego of the stepfathers or the women. There's this back and forth. So there's all this trash talking about both parents' sides. A lot of my childhood was around this. So with this model, although it might not be fair, it might not, it hurts, it's bullshit, all those other things. I'm not disclaiming that. In fact, I think it could be painful for a woman to go through that at times. But at the same time, if you're honest and you're upfront and you're taking care of your responsibilities, you're actually removing that step parent element from it. And if you're providing in the proper way, like we were talking about before, you were talking about being gone. Being gone is something that's very, very natural as well. It's over the course of time. I was telling you I had over 200 guys that work for me, but most of them spend most of the year away from home. They're still wonderful fathers that provide, and their time is very impactful when they're with their children. And so that respect's there. Oftentimes that father that comes home every day and he pops open a beer, he's mostly an average guy. These guys that are talking about having children with multiple women, these are guys that are not shooting to be average men. And for that reason, they won't be average fathers. They'll be extraordinary fathers that create memories with their children that they'll never forget. It's very easy to forget a father that comes home every day, pops open a beer, smokes a joint, and plays Xbox and got fat, while he promised in front of God and everybody in the church that he was going to give his wife and that family the best life they could ever imagine. The guys that are shooting for those types of goals are going to give their family 10x the life that anybody else could have done. And most of the time, the gap is so large, you can probably do it for multiple families. He's just not lying about it. Okay,
so what you're saying is maybe it's more practical than it seems, because if you're someone who's, we'll say, a high value man.
Don't you hate it? Cringy? I hate it.
I hate it, but it communicates quickly what we're trying to say.
It's good in the conversation. Yeah, like I can feel us both like cringing.
Yeah, it's like
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, but
gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got it. So the high value man. So assuming you're a guy who's like making good money, you have your, not just with the money though, right? You have your shit in order, your body's in order, your priorities in order, you have healthy habits, you cut out a lot of BS.
Yeah,
you're saying that you may, even if you're not physically present, because if I was to push back, I was going to say that if, in my case, and for me, there's two angles here. One angle is my personal preferences. I'm someone who is more of an introvert. I tend to more get lost just in like the projects I have, whether it's YouTube, whether it's I used to like love building computers. I've been playing this sport paddle here all the time that you got to try out,
bro.
It's not in the States. It's the fastest growing sport in the world.
I see it in Miami, bro. I see it in Miami all the time. It's right off Biscayne. Yeah.
It's people. It's a lot cooler than pickleball that people are playing in the States right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll play with you only.
All right.
Don't tell anybody.
But I like getting lost in these projects. So for me, the idea of juggling multiple women, let alone multiple kids, for me, that's just like anxiety.
Yeah.
Like it's too many things. I'm not gonna have enough time to do my own stuff.
Yep.
But from a practical sense, it would seem that I would think that I would want to be very present in my children's life. And if I had multiple kids with multiple women, assuming they're also not in the same location, which that also maybe introduces a tricky thing if they are in the same location, but they're in different locations, that I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time with those kids as I want. And to your point, time alone is not quality time, right? And maybe through things like FaceTime and traveling frequently or having them travel frequently, you can fill that void. But I'd be worried that they'd end up getting raised by kind of like a single mother with time to time masculine influence. And I think we can agree, like being raised by a single mother is not going to be the best for a kid.
Sure. So a lot of those single mothers are disenfranchised with men that they wish they didn't have children with. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about women that are absolutely in love with you and respect you, and you have a partnership and a bond between them. I watched one of my little girls play yesterday for 30 minutes, and I was texting mom, she busted her ass. She's almost there because she's just about to take her first steps, man. By the way, it's the first time I've ever said I have children on the internet.
Justin's got children. Multiple.
How to beast. We did it. Okay, cool.
How many, man? You got multiple children.
Bam. Plural. So the point is that I think it's about the relationship itself, because you see this model, and that people are trying to do it and they're failing at incredible rates and they're wrecking children. What I want for my children is to know the truth of the world. You know what I'm saying? How to navigate through it and create a situation where they have choice. I could have sons that turn out to be gay. I'm fine with that, bro. As long as they understand, how the world operates, and they listen to me in regards to how to create competencies so they have enough abundance in their life so they can make the choices. That's all I want. If I can do that as a father and then be the emotional waves that a woman can crash into, she can trust me, feel safe around me, she can respect me. Because you know what really upsets women the most about guys that try to have multiple women? They're liars.
They're not. Okay, so now let me also say, your explanation helped me understand the whole concept.
Right.
Maybe it's not for me, based on my personal preferences, but I can see that they have a strong masculine role model.
Right.
They're provided for financially. They're given options in life to what they want to do. They understand what's right and what's wrong.
Right. They have experiences that they'll never forget.
Yes, so they're still able to travel and experience different things. And I think the most important thing here you're saying is like, this is also like something that's happening from a place of honesty with the women. It's not like, wait, you didn't tell me you have a family out in Dubai. Like, what the? No, this is something like from maybe not day one, but from the point that it turns into something more serious is already, hey, take it or leave it. This is has to be okay with both of us.
Right. I really care about you. I don't want to see you go, but I have to tell you the truth about this, and this. And the reason I would say that, saying that a little bit later, is because they don't get to experience the man you are.
Yeah, you can't say that day one.
Yeah, you can't say day one.
Day one is disrespectful. Right. Or it seems that way.
It is. It is. And so most women, if you can do it respectfully, they respect you. Because here's the problem with a guy who does it, who comes home and pops open that beer every day, is he does that.
Well, it's from a place of weakness. It's from a place of escapism. It's from a place of not being able to be honest with either people.
And they're not getting a fair deal. They mean to say, oh, so you're a bum, but you think you're going to live this playboy life like you're Donald Trump or some shit? Dude, you're not. Like, this life's like, we can't even go to fucking Navarre Beach in Florida for the weekend, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
I never heard of Navarre Beach, but it doesn't sound nice.
It's this top part of Florida by Alabama, right? It is nice, but it's not Spain, right?
Okay.
You get it? Yeah. So like, that's the point. They're like, this is not a fair trade-off, number one.
Yep.
Number two, you're a liar. Number three, and most importantly, you are a coward for not telling me.
Well, this also ties back into like Andrew, the Tate brothers, but Andrew specifically. People think he says like cheating is okay, right? Like that's how his message gets internalized by the mass public.
But it's not cheating.
No, but when you listen to him, he's like, no, this is like something that's a boundary that's set with the women. And if I'm fully okay with anyone, as long as you're setting clear boundaries, both parties are okay with it, doing whatever it is.
Bro, exactly. Yeah, why is it accepted for other people to do it? Why are hot wives okay? Dude, I've had husbands send their wives to my house.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird, bro. I don't know why they like it. Whatever. Not my problem, cowboy. Whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, we accept
hot wives is called?
It's called a hot wife. I'm not meaning to get off subject here, but a hot wife is basically when some dude gets off by like picking some like handsome Chad looking dude and like sending his wife over there to sleep with him.
He doesn't watch or anything.
Sometimes they want a photo or some shit. I don't want to go too deep into it. It's weird, bro. It's weird.
Okay.
Like whatever.
It's
bro.
like a cuck, but like a proud cuck or something.
Yeah, he's like a digital cuck. Okay. Like stay home, bro. Anyway.
Interesting. All right.
Anyway, that's so off subject. Yeah, Google it. It's a thing. I get some crazy Instagram messages. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so. What we can agree on at the end of the day, right, is being honest, first of all, right? Regardless which way you choose to take it.
Because it's the deceit that's wrong, and you're a coward.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a guy who's taking care of your shit, you're being honest with people, your children, women, men, your coworkers, whoever, right?
Yeah, before marriage or anything committal. Yeah.
It's a good policy in general, right? I've always said that. Like, if something goes wrong, but, like, it was out of an honest thing, that's fine, right? I'd rather something go wrong because of the truth being known rather than something going right and then feeling like I'm like hiding something there. It's like a ticking time bomb.
And I didn't do all this work for some woman to come along and tell me I can't keep having kids because I want a legacy and I want boys.
Yeah. Well, again, as long as that's something you're open with.
Maybe more boys. Yeah. You know, depending on how plural it is, right? Whether I have 10 or 100. But, you know, that's my view on it, man. And I think that what's really important is a man takes responsibility.
So let's tie this into your life. Because I've heard you talk that I think it seems like your father wasn't super present, right? When you grew up.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And I know you said you at least the way you've talked about it, like your household maybe wasn't the most ideal household. Like we're talking about here. Yes. And I know you said you played college football. You kind of looked at that as an escape to kind of that was your ticket.
That's my ticket.
That was the ticket out, right? And I'm curious because obviously a lot of people don't have ideal family lives, right? Or they just...
I think it's very common for them not to,
It's probably more common than not, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Even if there's money, that doesn't mean it's ideal, right? There's a lot of trauma people deal with in their houses, and maybe it's not just in the house. Maybe it's with their uncle, or maybe it's their first job.
The weird uncle.
The weird uncle, or their girlfriend who just berates them. So, like, my question is, for the people in those not ideal situations, like, what kept you going in those moments? Like what kept you up? Because you're a kid, you don't have all the knowledge you have now, you don't have all the experience, you don't have the balanced knowledge of the world and how things should be and how they're not. Like what kept you going? Because I feel like there's a lot of guys in those situations. You
know my observation has been is some people see what's going on in their house or what's close to them and they become it. And then some people just see it and realize what they don't want to become or what they don't want to be. And I was the latter. And so what I would do is I would use sports, particularly football. You know, I wasn't that guy. You know, did you play sports in high school?
I played football, basketball.
Okay, cool. You know how some of the guys, your senior year, they're like crying when they're taking their pads off for the last time?
Like it's their whole identity is
leaving. That. I looked at it very transactionally. Like I like football, but I don't watch it anymore. It was very transactional. This is my only full ride ticket. I could have played D3, D7 basketball. I was good. I could play. Yeah. I could have played baseball and got my books and got a partial, but that wasn't the structure. I knew if I played football, I'd get a full ride, paid for, done. And that was my only way out of that town, or I'd be working in the plants or some shit. So
it's identifying, well, first of all, and I've always said this.
What you don't want to be.
Yeah. I think you need to be able to look at your parents, because people don't consciously realize this, and say, what are the positive qualities that you'd want to take from them? And what are maybe they're not negative qualities, but the qualities that you don't want to take. And like, if it's not a conscious decision, I think you become like the mini-me of your dad or your mom, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the natural path. But if you're able to identify, like for me, my dad's super hardworking. He was a physician, but he started his own business in Spain. And like, I really attribute all of my like discipline and hardworking to seeing him every day just grinding. Yeah. But he was a little bit more passive in social interactions. And I think at first in my younger ages, that led me to being a little bit more like passive and weak in social interactions until I kind of had to consciously choose, look, I can take like the good and be so respectful of all the hard work and the good life he's given me. But it's okay to be different in this way. And I think sometimes kids are afraid to give themselves permission to be a little bit different because we idolize our parents so much. And it seems right, even if maybe it's not right for us.
No, 100%, you nailed it. And I think you nailed it on consciousness. Like we should always be looking for more consciousness. And like we were talking about before, there's never been, with every generation, there's a new set of problems. But with those problems come a new set of opportunities. So you could say the kids live on a cell phone. But at the same time, I feel like a 15-year-old has more ability to gain consciousness on what's coming to him in his life than ever before. And that is a very, very powerful thing to have.
But you got to be conscious that I can watch JWaller on YouTube and learn from his experiences. I don't have to go jerking on Pornhub immediately after.
No, you don't. Yeah. You don't. But
it's tough. It's tough for young people to have that consciousness.
But think about it, man. It's like I was born in December 85, right? We would have to go look in our dad's closet for that, And so I can sit here and shit on those kids.
But it's not the same.
But it's not the same.
It's at the fingertips.
It's at their fingertips.
And you see it. You scroll through Instagram,
13, bro. You fuck that wall over there. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
No. I remember it was when I might have been 16 or I don't know, middle school, just before high school, maybe high school. I remember like when we got the internet in our house, and it was like, yeah, man, I'd like rush home to get home before anyone else so I could just find. And it wasn't even like porn at that point. It was just like some like provocative photos.
Oh, bro, it could be a magazine, dude.
It was. I mean, my brother, we had him like printed out, hidden under the mattress. Yeah, man, that's the old days.
We're just dumb. Just dumb, man. But and they're going through that at the same time. But with that is this big NoFap movement. Yeah. Now, I feel like sometimes those guys create NoFap as like their identity, which is, in my opinion, very nerdy. I'm like,
it's just one aspect of things.
It's just one aspect of things. And like they put they're like, I can look people in the eyes. Well, bro, I could beat it right now, look you in the eyes and shake your hand. Like, come on.
Well, it's like cold showers. People like, it's like, and I take cold showers every day.
Too.
And I think there's benefits, but it's not like you take a cold shower and don't fap, and now you're like successful.
Right. Yeah. They're like, yeah, man, take cold showers, you'll get lean. Yeah, you can also do it by fasting, not eating bullshit food. like, let's go ahead. Like, taking a cold shower is like a 0.0000001 part. It really just it gives you that endorphin rush of a workout. It makes you feel fresh.
It gets you started. You don't need the coffee to get started. You don't fap. You build discipline. You look at women with a little bit less lust, a little more control. But it's not the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's salt and pepper on top of something that's already made. It's not the main course for sure.
All right, so this is
what's next?
This is out of left field, bro. All right, but
cool.
So you made a comment when you came over. You're like, I like your teeth, man, right? And I got the veneers done.
I do, man. Mr. Pretty Teeth, handsome.
So I had a big gap. That was part of it. I had a big front gap. And then also when we went in, like I had a bad bite. My teeth were really grounded down in the back. So it was like, it was cosmetic, but it also kind of like fixed the mechanics of my mouth. I breathed a little bit better. My tongue I didn't realize, I didn't know, but I guess my tongue was kind of getting in the way as well. But I know that you've had a couple of hair transplants, right?
Yeah, I've had two.
It's funny because I saw you mention that, and then I went and Googled like your college football photos to see like what the situation was before.
Yeah.
And it looks great. And I wouldn't have known.
Thanks. Yeah. But I don't want to leave that shit out, man.
You don't want to leave what shit out?
I don't want to leave it out. Like, I feel like some guys get online and they're like, oh, and I'm directly not talking about Andrew, actually. I'm talking about some other guys. Like, they hide these things.
That they got done.
That they got done. And I just don't, like, I want to be helpful in that way. So, yeah, I've had two of them. I'm going to get another one, actually.
Yeah. Well, did Andrew get work done?
No, it's not that. Oh. It's because we were talking about Andrew. I'm just saying that some people don't share these things that I think are super important.
Okay. Yeah, and that's always been my policy. Like, I'm also on TRT, and it's also something a lot of guys wouldn't talk about. Right. But I've kind of just, if I'm going to like be telling guys advice on experiences of things that worked well for me or worked not well for me, I feel like it's an obligation to be very transparent about. And I couldn't hide this, man. Like, there's a big gap before.
Bro, it's badass, yeah.
But I'm curious your thoughts on you said you're thinking about getting the veneers done. You've gotten the hair transplants done. And I might get a hair transplant done at some point. It's curly. Mine kind of curls down. It kind of hides. I don't have a great hairline.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on men getting work done? Obviously, I've gotten work done. I think like if you're trying to level up your life, and part of that is like being more proud of your appearance. And I don't think it's the first thing to do, right? I think probably first put the work in the gym, get over some of your insecurities with women. But then if you're later in life, you have the disposable income, you can do it.
Right. Yeah.
Like why not? If it's just gonna make you feel a little bit better. But I definitely get like a lot of very aggressive hate comments about the veneers. So it's fine. It is what it is. You put your life online, that's going to come. But I'm curious your thoughts.
No, I'm all for it, bro. Anything you think you need to do that'll make you more attractive, more confident, all those things, do it. Letting somebody else determine or deter you from trying to be better as a person, I think it would be a foolish thing to do. So yeah, get the veneers. If your nose is fucked, fix it. If you want to get a hair transplant, do it, man. Like, you're out here competing, and it's very hyper aggressive competition. It's not easy. And let's face it, you're gonna have a better shot in life if you're handsome. So anything you can do to be more handsome, I am all for it. This isn't one of those things where it's like you need to be insecure or feel like you're less of a man just because you're trying to be more aesthetically handsome. The first thing I said to you, or one of the first things I said to you when I got in here, is like, bro, I love your teeth. And so yeah, I'm gonna do it too. And I'll probably have another hair transplant this year, because it's not that my hairline is so bad, it's that I'm just losing it, right? And so I'll be damned.
But do you lose it Because once they transplant the hairs, the transplant
you don't lose it after.
Okay.
You lose it after because they take it from your donor area in the back.
And those areas that should be living.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
should stay
and
living.
they just replant it.
Okay.
Right, in other places. So, man, I'm all for it. And there's no way I would do that and, like, keep it a secret, right?
Yeah.
Because there's some guy out there that's on the fence about it and his buddies are calling him a homo or something. And I'm like, okay, bro, cool. But do your buddies really care about, like, how you look and your ability to, your place in the dating market, let's say?
It's dating market. I mean, it's more
than that. It's business. It's everything. It's how people treat you, man. It's like you really want to tie it to making money because the more put together you are as a person, the better you're going to do in life, period. And if you have to get veneers or a hair transplant to do it, man, then you have full support from me. You know, I would never deter anybody from doing something that was good for them like that, man. A lot of things that'll happen, or what does happen sometimes, is people don't want to see that guy that they think they're in the same league in get a hair transplant that might put that dude ahead of them.
Well, it's the same as when you're hanging out with, like, it's the basic example, but I think anyone who's committed themselves to self-improvement knows you have, like, a group of friends who kind of by path of least resistance have been your group of friends, and maybe they're good guys, but when all of a sudden you start dressing different, you start getting a different haircut, your guys are at the bar, now you're the one who's going and talking to girls, like, very quickly you realize who actually supports you versus who is just, like, anxiously comparing himself to you and is now like, bro, you shouldn't do YouTube, bro, you're gonna get a hair transplant, like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, it kind of filters out.
We're gonna move to LA now. Might, if the opportunity is there, bro. No, completely, man. You're dead on. And I think you getting your teeth done or whatever you want to do is the best thing you could possibly do for yourself, man. If that's what you believe will make you just that much better. It's 1% over the years, you know, just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. It's true, man. And so I support it fully. Absolutely.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's the place to start. I think let's get some momentum in your life in general. I mean, again, if you already have the disposable income, maybe start there, but you probably don't have the disposable income to do it. You don't want it to be like risking your livelihood to get some teeth, man. But once you have the momentum,
I agree with you, man. That's like, so you can either be handsome or be scary, right? So you can do the fitness thing. And I think that if you get in good shape, or
everything at that point, everything else looks like, because people fall in love with the imperfections. You said that about Marbella, you fall in love with the imperfections, but with people, you fall in love with the imperfections, right? If you're a jack dude, you have a bad hairline, you shave it. Maybe you have the gap too.
You look scary.
Like, fuck man.
This my guy might headbutt me, and some girls like, oh my god.
Well, dude, girls gonna be into that guy.
Bro, I see ugly dudes with smoking hot women all the time, bro. Like Shrek looking dudes. And I'm like, big boss. Like, he just owns it, man. Because I get called pretty boy online a lot, which is bullshit. But you know, they're like, oh, it's easy to say if you're handsome. I mean, I gotta say the same thing to you. And I'm like, oh yeah, well fuck you, bro, because I know dudes that are way less in that category, and they have stunning. I mean, I see their girl, and I'm like, dude.
But what do you say to these bitter guys, right? Because they're bitter. If you're a bitter guy, you're gonna be bitter towards guys who are maybe look better than you.
Enjoy your mom's closet, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but there's a lot of these guys. Not only will they hate on me for the veneers, but they'll be the first guy to comment on any girl who has work done. And like the most attractive girls in today's day and age
have work done
because it's a competitive thing.
I said this on Pearl the other day. I said, dude, if I was a chick, the first thing I'd do is get a big ass boob job off the rip. Dude, if I was a girl, I would go get a boob job right now.
Well, it's a competitive market. And if you're a woman, you really are competing based on your looks. Versus men, there's maybe a few more factors. But
it doesn't mean you're insecure. It means you're trying to get better in every way.
I agree.
You know, if you told me there was something I could do tomorrow and I had to pay for it, physically get it done, and it would really make me better, bet your ass.
What's money for? I mean, at the end of the day, right? Man. Yeah.
And that's another thing that we're trading off as we get older. You know, I'm 37, so as I get older and I have more and more money just stacking up, it's just a fucking tool to stay young.
You start to see it as like numbers on a screen at some point, right?
It really
and it's
is.
not like this huge emotional connection. So like, but obviously it's hard if you're someone who's not in a good spot financially right now. Maybe you don't understand that, but like at some point, that's the benefit of having money, is that it's a tool. You can start to look at it as a very non-emotional thing.
1,000%. And you know how Rollo, I don't know if you've ever read any of his books, but Rollo Tomassi.
I read the OG book, the Rational Male. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So he'll talk about how women have these stages. You know, they go through the party stage and this epiphany stage, or the wall, or whatever. I feel like young men, they should be going through getting their fitness right, building those foundational muscles that like you kind of keep, like that dense old muscle. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like at this point, like I'm not trying to get any bigger.
Yeah,
I weigh 230 pounds. Like I'm not trying to like work my heart like that. And so you do that, and you're like making money, and you need to understand female nature. But at some point, you start making money. But at that same time, you start to age. Well, that's when you can start throwing money at that thing that you don't have anymore. Which would be your TRT or your hair transplant or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, so you really have to look at it as a game. And in the beginning, you start off with certain resources like unicorn blood. Yeah. You remember being 22? Yeah. You could run through a wall, bro.
Yeah, you football practice, you think
you wouldn't even feel it.
Broke your ankle, you play through it.
Yeah,
2 weeks later, it's better. Now you barely twist your ankle walking up the sidewalk. And
yeah,
like 3 months later, you're like, man, I hope that thing heals up eventually.
Yeah, am I a degenerate? Like, how old am I, bro? Yeah, no, completely. But you can throw money at these things now. Yeah. And so that's the purpose. Like, you need to use all that energy to become as good as you can possibly be. Yeah. And hopefully you have money that helps you work through these things later, because even these young guys, they can act like they're going to be young forever. Newsflash for you, man. For them, not for you, but I've worked really hard in my 20s. I've had 5 shoulder surgeries on this shoulder. I've had a total replacement in the shoulder. I work around to squat. Like when we go work out today, there's it's limited, right? Yeah. I can't put my hand behind a bar, so I have to take a strap and wear a hoodie. Yeah. So the hoodie helps catch it, so I can squat. Or the bench press is out, right?
Yeah,
so
I don't bench press anymore either.
It's push-ups only.
I did a thing to my cervical spine where I have like a degenerate disc or something. So I no longer can have bench press. Yeah.
Right. And so they like anything you can do to stay in the game, it's a fight. So sometimes you have to adjust, and money is just simply a tool. And so if you have to use that to offset some hair or teeth or if your teeth's dropping, man, I'm all for it, man. And full support, absolute full support.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. Now I'm curious for you, because you started YouTube. You've been uploading more consistently recently, right? But a year or two ago,
I had to build a team. Yeah.
Build
a little team.
So how's YouTube been going for you,
bro? You know what? It's good. I enjoy it. I tell you a couple things that are really cool. There's nothing like getting a couple hundred messages a day and being like, bro, you're really helping me. It's the most fulfilling work I've ever done. If I have over 150 real estate properties. Like nobody's ever like, hey, Justin, just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate you giving me a place to live. I'm not getting that.
I mean, if you go talk to the builders over here, get my house done a couple months early, I'll be telling you that.
Yeah, we'll go banging on them, right? But in construction too, though. So like if I hit a schedule for, let's say, we build a lot of Costco's and airplane hangars and shit like that, big steel buildings. Yep. Nobody's like, hey, really appreciate you hitting the schedule. Like if I get paid, that means good job. Yeah. It's just a tough industry. So for me to be able to do something like this a little bit later after the fact is very, very fulfilling. Getting stopped on the street, like I've been stopped multiple times here, but like getting stopped in all the cities I get stopped in the airports, it's really cool. Yes, I'll take a picture with you, bro. I'd love to. Yeah. Now it's new to me.
Yeah.
It's new to me.
But you cherish those moments.
Yeah. Well, I do absolutely cherish it because it's just the most fulfilling thing I've ever done.
I remember the first time and it happens quite frequently now.
To you bro. I did it to you yesterday. I'm like, hey.
It shocks you. It still shocks me, because even if it's like you think about 1 million subscribers, it's like, yeah, but like how many people are in the world? That's still like a small percentage. Yeah, I get it. But then if you're like in a gym, that's just like the type of demographic of people who are trying to level up. It happens a lot. Yeah. In the States, it happens a lot. I remember the first time ever, Julie and I were flying back from Spain, and I had like a hoodie on. Like you couldn't even see my face, like editing this video. And this dude walks by. He's a black dude. And I say that just because like the way he reacted was such like this excited black dude, like, oh shit. Is that Julia? Is that David? And like I'll remember that moment for the rest of my life. And now and
what a cool thing to happen in front of your girl.
That was well before we were married. Yeah, that happens all the time. No, but those moments mean in the world to me, man. But there's something special about YouTube, even more so than like an Instagram or a TikTok, where I feel like people genuinely can relate to you on this deep level, and it's been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life, man. Has been sticking to YouTube.
You know what I often say? I'll make way more money in the real world in my actual companies. Yeah. Like I do really good on the internet. Like I'm kind of shocked at how much I make online, but they don't pay. It pales in comparison to my real businesses. Yeah. And what I'm starting to find is, because I've had so many people work for me at this point, I'm starting to get people now that know, like, and trust me, they, instead of them coming to me normally when I hire a man, right? He comes, he's like, I'm going to work for you just enough for you not to fire me and me get a paycheck, and I'm going to ask for a raise every now and then. You know, that's basically how it is, right?
The employee.
It's pretty natural, right? Now I'm getting people that are like, I want to work for you.
Yeah.
Put me anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. And my first core value in any company of mine is intention. Because if somebody has intent, then they will have the energy to learn and grow or do whatever you need them to do because they want to be on the team. They want to get behind you and support you. And any company, its core value should come from the heart of the founder or the CEO or whomever. And I'm not big on calling myself a CEO. I kind of think it's cringy, but the point I'm making is I'm now in this position where these people want to just work with me.
And that's not even someone. I know the War Room is that your main income stream for online? Okay, and that's not people joining that. That's people we'll call it the real world, but that's people coming who want to work, construction workers to work on your crew. Construction,
real estate,
and they've seen your videos. Then
and you know, I have a big heart for guys that work in construction. I think they're underpaid. I think that they're underappreciated, and I think that that's going to change. I think in 10 years or less, somebody's going to come online and be like, you want to know the new hack? It's not Amazon. Learn how to be a plumber. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People really take for granted what it takes.
You can't AI a plumber, man.
No, you can't. Yeah. It's like people really take for granted what it takes to make this world go round. Yeah. You know, and unfortunately, especially women probably, you know, because and the only reason I say that is like, let's say I were to go on a date, you know, she wouldn't know who I am. Let's say she didn't know me at all. Didn't know anything about me. Didn't see my Instagram, none of that, right? And I said, I do metal buildings. Yeah. And we're in Miami. Yeah. Well, the dude that she went out with last night owns a tech company. I might make more money than that dude.
But she won't know it immediately.
She won't know it. She'll be like, metal buildings are plumber.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. If you were to like just keep it broad like that. Yeah. And it's sad because it's like, well, you see this building we're in? It's structural steel. And my men built this. Yes. And my company did this. And you don't know that. Yeah. Because you're on your cell phone.
And I'm not well, you are maybe an influencer, but in this example, you're not an influencer. In this example,
right? And I just think it's something it's really sad because there are girls online showing their ass that make more money than some of my best men. And I got I think probably 8 or 10 guys in the field that make well into 6 figures before I even get into my office staff. And it's just sad because
do you think OnlyFans, not to cut you off, but that's what you're referencing. And I know girls who make stupid money on OnlyFans, and it's as someone who's a business owner, separate from YouTube, I'm talking about like the actual businesses. Like it can be a bit frustrating, right? To be like that much money is generated from a little ass pick or ass shake, but
that's men's fault though. It goes back to me blaming men.
Because who's the market, right? It's like the simpier guys who don't have the female attention, blah 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 blah. How do you think that develops though over the next 5 to 10 years? Like this concept of OnlyFans, like it's like porn, but not porn. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Paying individual girls subscription based.
It's the relationship that they think they have with the woman. Most of the times, these OnlyFans girls are run by men.
I always say that on my channel just to like let guys know you're not talking to that girl, bro. You're talking to some old man behind a computer.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that, but I do think it's going to continue. See what social media did. It gave men that actually are 1% men this massive advantage. You think it would equal the playing field, right? Oh, everybody can see everybody from
for
each
women.
town.
Maybe it equaled the playing field.
For women, it super equals the playing field. But the truth is, and I've said this to women before, like that conversation we were talking about earlier, is like whether you're going to have one woman or multiple women. Well, you say the woman, and I've said this to a woman, and I upset her, but a week later she called me back, told me I was right. It's like, listen, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you're going to have a much harder time replacing me than I will have to replace you. And I don't mean that from a place of disrespect, but women have these expectations of men. They want them to be tall, handsome, rich, in shape, all these things, and have influence, etc., a decent sized Instagram account. Good luck, because that's a 0.00000 guy. Yeah. Whereas I can go on Instagram right now and there's a new class of 18-year-olds. And I'm not saying I even go that low. Yeah. Or 22-year-olds or whatever. Yeah. And dude, like,
but the looks is and again, obviously
the looks is their thing, and it's
that's going to get them at least on the first date. Is at least going to obviously it might take more than that.
It's fleeting, And so the thing is that I think that the men, especially the higher level men, let's say the top 10%, not even 1%, have all the advantages right there.
Yeah.
You know, and that in a lot of ways, and I do believe that it's just as unfair for women as it is for men, because by the time they find that guy, that
well, they're playing a time game. We're men. Time's on our side. That's what I always tell guys. You go dark in your 20s, man. Just put the work in, build yourself up.
Then it's easy.
And then then it's easy. With women,
that's what I did.
It's the opposite for women. You can say it's easy for women, maybe in their young 20s. They're 18 to 30, but then it's a different game after that. Yeah.
I've never said this online, but I remember being like 27, 28, and I've watched guys like you, Brandon Carter, like all the YouTube OGs. I'm like, man, I really want to do that.
I appreciate you calling me OG.
Yeah, bro, you are an OG,
appreciate
bro.
That.
Like, I called you yesterday. I'll say this online too. I called him yesterday and said, man, I really appreciate you having me on because I know the hierarchy of this situation, man. It's like you show respect, bro. You've been doing this for a long time. It means a lot to me, bro. You have a huge channel. You're the one with the following, not me in comparison. So, but all that to say is that I wanted to do it for so long, but I wouldn't let myself until I was like well into being a millionaire. And
was it connected to, well, first of all,
I didn't want to be disingenuous.
Yeah. Okay. So it was connected to like feeling like imposter syndrome. Like,
but not, I didn't have imposter syndrome because I kept myself in check by not doing it.
Well, you have obviously a very high level of self-awareness. When you called me yesterday, I was like, fuck that, bro. Like, I don't care. And that's also why I see how YouTube is going, because your YouTube channel immediately to me stands out versus, I don't know, there's a dime a dozen men's self-improvement channels out there, right? Yeah. And yours is not, you don't get into like the crazy cinematography and some of the stuff that like I enjoy personally, but yours is very like, a lot of times, right? You're in the car, in the G-Wagon maybe, talking to a guy who has some help or needs some help, giving him advice. You're also pushing a lot of guys towards these more old-fashioned skills like plumbing, like you said. Maybe not being a plumber, but being a plumber and then using that to build a plumbing business with other plumbers working for you. So you also, the point is, I was trying to give you a compliment. Like it's a very unique channel. You're also very grounded and nuanced and balanced versus someone who's just loud and trying to get attention. But
it just came from the real world, man, and there's a level of humility that gets beat into you, especially coming from something like construction. You know, it's like it's rough. It's not easy, man. It's a hard business. It's not just the work itself. If it was just the work itself, it'd be one thing, but it's way more legal than you would think it would be.
Yeah, I heard you explain it one time, all the different workman's compensations, all the different things that go into this. All
the different things. It's like you need and you don't learn it in construction management school. You're not ready for the things that are coming. So there's that. And I think I got really lucky in that regard. I'm very, very grateful. You know how they talk about like luck is created? Yeah. For me, I think that my not doing YouTube was one of the most valuable things because what it allowed me to do.
So you were thinking about it for like years?
Oh, I wanted to do it for years, man.
You said you were 27? So this is like 7, 8 years. Oh, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I wanted to do it way back then. Yeah. But I knew I wasn't ready. And because I waited, guys like Myron, Rolo, Tate, whomever, they said, you know, he doesn't have the follower count. Like I had like 2,000 something followers the first time I went on Fresh and Fit.
On YouTube followers.
Yeah. That's retarded. But what it was is they're like, okay, well, I respect the fact that he has a real business in the real world.
Yeah, I'm not viewing you through the lens of an influencer. I'll say that. Right. When I see your content, I'm not comparing you based on like you've differentiated yourself that way, and that's something else maybe other people can learn from, right? I'm not looking at you like, well, what's his view count? Because it's very clear you've had success in an industry that couldn't be more.
It's tough.
But it also couldn't be further away from like influencing.
Oh, it's not
or social media.
All. Yeah, it's not cool, bro.
But that's it. It's immediately a unique perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was for me like my golden ticket to be accepted by all of you guys that have put in all this hard work, and I'm like super grateful for it. And that's why I'm so respectful about it, because I see number one, I see the people on my side that, you know, how hard the business is. And then I see y'all's side where it's like, how many YouTube people that start a channel even get to 1,000 or even 10,000? Like next to nobody. The numbers are ridiculous.
That's what I always tell people when people ask me for like YouTube advice. I'm like, you have to realize, here's the law. Like your first subscriber is the hardest subscriber you'll ever have to earn. The second is the second hardest. The third is the third hardest, right? Like if you're making any progress at all, it's very meaningful progress, because that's going to compound. And once you get to 1,000, now the 1,000th first subscriber, you don't even think about that. Like it's just like now you get some momentum. It starts going, but But yeah, YouTube's a funny game, man. It's a funny game.
It's interesting. What's the ride been like for you?
Well, man, I started.
When did you think you fell in love? Because I don't think I've fallen in love yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about my videos, right?
Yeah.
I have a very creative mind, but like for me, I like this relationship more than I'm amped about when it drops.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because that's the old school business. I'm Southern too.
Yeah.
That I see in it. And I'm excited about the video coming out because it's how to beast. Badass. Let's do it. I'm amped about that. But I like this more than I do the business. Yeah. When did you fall in love day one?
So my first job was as a software engineer, and I hated it. I thought I liked it, but I really, once I started working
code.
Yeah.
Like C++ and shit like that?
Yeah, well, for me it was SQL, but yeah.
Okay.
For a year. It wasn't for me, man. You're sitting behind a desk, it drains your energy. Then from there, I started doing personal training. I had a cousin who started doing it. I was starting to get into fitness. I was like, fuck it. I know the money's not here like it is in software, but like, I want to do that. Like, let's see what happens.
You want your freedom in a way.
Yeah, I wanted my freedom. You're still kind of building your business as a trainer. You're selling, you are. And I learned invaluable lessons on sales for there, right? Because you get thrown in a lot of weird situations as a personal trainer when you're new. Then from there, I wanted to... I was really in love with watching, like, at that time it was like Elliot Hulse. He's like the real OG. He's the OG of the OGs for self-improvement YouTube.
Videos in his gym. I know who he is.
It was like the Yo Elliott series, right?
Yo Elliott.
And I'd rewatch some of his videos, and he was just like angry at the camera, yelling.
I remember,
But I'd watch one of his videos every morning, like just for my mindset. And that's also when I started to be like, yo, I'm a pussy with the women. I got to like figure this out. Right? I got to start approaching women. I got to start figuring this out. And then as I started feeling more confident in my life, and my life started becoming more meaningful by like challenging myself to do new things, personal training, talking to girls, leveling up myself in the gym. I wanted to do YouTube, but I couldn't for like 2-3 years. I couldn't do it, man. I don't know. I wrote a blog, howtobeast.com. I felt like I wouldn't be confident enough.
Were you scared to put yourself out there?
Yes. I was scared that like if you're doing a blog, it's like it's written. People see a photo. It's not the same thing. You write it. You can edit it. That was also popular like back in 2014 or whatever, right?
It's like the Tim Ferriss days.
4-hour work week, bro. Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to do YouTube so badly because I'd watch Elliot Hulse or some of these other early like fitness YouTubers too, like a Christian Guzman or my buddy Max Chun. I'm friends with him now.
Dude's a beast. That's a handsome fuck, isn't he?
Yeah, Christian? Yeah. And I was like, this is what I want to do because it would fulfill the need for like creativity, but also trying to share this path I'm on with other guys, right? Because I don't see too many guys out there actually showing themselves out there being rejected by women. You had like the old school RSD pickup where those like, it seemed like it was like the best of the best approaches in there, but it was also kind of like weird pickup tactics. They've evolved as well, but at the beginning it was kind of like, or like mystery method. It was like,
I completely get it. Like he was dressed like fucking retard and stuff. What's the, No, finish. Yeah, well, I've talked to one of those RSD guys, and I actually like them. I've just had a baby.
I've connected with some of them as well.
It's not the main guy; it's one of the other guys.
Well, yeah, I don't.
He just had a baby. Anyway, I like him.
Well, they've evolved as well as everyone's evolved, right? And I'm nothing against them. That's just like the state of like the pickup advice at the time. But I wanted to just kind of like share like normal, down to earth, like. Look, you guys go see me get rejected by girls. And those are my first videos that went viral. Was me like awkwardly approaching these girls in Boston, man. It was in downtown Boston where I was at the time. Julie actually filmed some of the first videos. We had just
Julian. I like Julian a lot.
Oh, Julian. Julian I've not met. I've met some of them.
We've just messaged back and forth a little bit. It's not like I know him, but he's cool.
Yeah. But not Julian, but Julia, my wife. So we had just started dating at the time. I had no social media following yet. I was a guy who had quit my job, who was trying to figure things out, but she was helping me film these YouTube videos approaching girls. She was filming me approaching girls in Boston, and some of those were the first videos that caught on because I was like kind of like an awkward kid putting himself out there. Some wins, some losses, and because that was January 2017, and what I told myself, because at that point it had been like 2 or 3 years of kind of like breaking even in my income from like blogging and trying to sell like some type of like products just to make some money. And then January 2017, I was like, look, YouTube's what I've always wanted to do. This is going to be the year I do YouTube. I'm not going to worry about, I have enough money saved up, from the software job that I just haven't touched that like, I'll be good for a year. I'm not going to worry about making any money. I'm just going to like try and make good YouTube videos that really connect with guys. And about like 8 months in, I remember we were traveling in Toronto, and a few of the videos that had been up like over the past few months just started to like catch on. I was like, fuck, we got another 1,000 subscribers yesterday. Fuck, we got another 1,000 subscribers yesterday. And now I'm getting all these messages from guys like, man, I'm in the same spot. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of your journey, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I I mean, that's when I just doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, invested the little money I had in better equipment and trying to take things to the next level. So for me, that's about when I fell in love, is a long-winded way of answering your question.
Isn't that the way it normally happens? You start to get a little bit of positive momentum. Yeah. And that's when you really turn on. Yeah. And you're like, oh, we're off the ground. Let's pull the throttle back and push the gas.
See how far this can actually go. Yeah. And then I've been lost in it since then. But then we have several different businesses. So now it's a little bit of a balancing act. I still love YouTube. I still do. Right. But now I have an editor who edits half the videos. I still have half of them. But a lot of my focus is now like, let's scale these businesses up so that we have a future outside of YouTube. As much as I love YouTube, I'm not going to be 50 years old. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe. I don't want to be put in a box where I have to be.
Or you might take breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like I saw Brandon take a break. Brandon Carter took a break. By the way, have you met Brandon Carter in real life?
Me and him have talked on the phone many times. I've not met him. If I come through Miami, another guy I got to talk to.
If you don't like Brandon Carter in real life, you don't believe in Jesus, bro. He's fucking awesome, bro. I love Brandon.
No, he's a good dude. Really, he's an OG guy. For sure.
Bro, talk about an OG. He's one of the. I remember he used to do videos in his apartment and. In New York, and he's like, "Yo, motherfucker!"
He'd always have like
put these eggs in here.
He'd have like a hot girl like. I remember he always say his videos. He'd have a hot girl standing next to him. She wouldn't even really be part of the video.
Just stand there. I'm gonna do push-ups on my head.
Or he'd grab her halfway through, do some like curls with her, put her back. Yeah, man, he's a good dude.
He's not human, is what he's not. He's a machine.
No, he's funny, and he talks. Again, I haven't met him in person, but on the phone, he talks exactly like he does in his videos. He's like, I'm invincible, motherfucker. Like he's like, that's just Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do it because you're a little bitch. Yeah. Which I love, man. Yeah. No, he's great. I had him over. We did a thing. Which, by the way, you got to come to Miami. We got to do the whole thing. I want to do the whole thing, man. But,
well, I'll come through. I see Brandon. I don't know if you know Austin Dunham. I'm friends with him. He's also he's another good dude. He's in a lot of like calisthenic stuff, but now he's into more like dating advice, red pill stuff, and then. F&F, they would have me back on, so I think I'll circle through.
So tell me this, man. I want to know, like, has your relationship with YouTube or the online business, but even like products and stuff, like, don't you have clothes and products you sell?
Yeah, we got the clothing business is the biggest one. We got a fitness app, which is like silent killer subscription basis, has a big base of users, and we have a supplement brand we've launched that one is a newer business that we need to kind of game plan that. Like we have a good first launch, but it's not like a scale right now. It's kind of just like until we figure something out. It's kind of just like not dead in the water, but it's kind of stagnant. And then we got like a men's mentorship program.
Nice, I love it. Which one's your favorite?
For different reasons, different ones.
Yeah,
man.
One's money, one's passion.
The clothing one's scaled a lot. It has a lot of moving pieces, but it's like the most like fun to like creatively make strategies business wise, but it also has a shit ton of costs, a lot of issues between the supply chain, delivery, returns, things. It's like it's not a clean business. I mean the fitness app is like the cleanest money maker, so like I like that. But then like the mentorship, you have the war room. I don't think it's the same thing. But when you do that, like that's very fulfilling in a different way. So they all fulfill different things.
Yeah, no, I get it. Where do you think it'll be in 10 years?
I always dodge this question, right? So I'll keep dodging it, man. I don't know, bro. I everything I'm doing now.
You asked me at the beginning, before we cut the camera on, is there anything I can't ask you? And I said no. All right, fine.
Well, the way I look at it is like next year I want to be doing what I'm doing now, but bigger.
Right.
The year after that, I don't know. Probably the same thing, but bigger. But like also,
that's what's
like,
tricky about it. It's
we
like
change
bigger is not as much fun, and exactly.
We
the truth is you might not know.
And then I want a new project. I'm gonna get this something that's gonna like. Tickle my fancy is a funny thing to say, man. Like the least manly thing to say. There's gonna be something that tickles my fancy as a high value man, and I'm gonna try it out, bro.
How can you be an alpha male with tickled fancies, bro? Another word I hate. Man, that's so funny.
So, what you got? Well, I got one big last question I want to ask you.
Shoot.
So, as men, where do we go next? Because there's been a lot of shifts over the last 5 to 10 years from. Complete unawareness of self-improvement to maybe an obsession with hookup culture and dating to maybe a little bit of an overcorrection towards traditional values and like shaming hookup culture and like what's the next step for men as a whole? Because me and you are going to be involved in this one way or another.
Right.
Hopefully a bigger role for both of us, but who knows? But like, where do we go next?
I think we take full responsibility, and I'm going to dig into that a little bit because I think a lot of times we think responsibility and we just think money or we just think fitness or whatever, but we take full responsibility in regards to, it's like the thing we're talking about earlier is like all these guys thinking that women are the problem. How can a true leader blame the situation on women? If you're leading properly, people will follow properly. So we have to take full responsibility with women, our situation in the world. I had a big rant the other day. I was arguing not arguing, but I was really just taking up for like young black guys. You know, this girl was trying to say they're oppressed, and there's just no way I would ever.
You don't identify as oppressed, right?
You don't want to identify as oppressed. It's like, yeah, does racism exist? Yeah, absolutely. But I have too many young black men that follow me, and I know too many successful young black men, and that have done well, and there's no way that I would allow these guys that I love and care for that follow me to believe that they don't have a shot if they work their ass off. So that's one thing. Just full responsibility in every way. And it's deeper than just saying it. It's like it's like down in the crevices of it.
How do we get because as you get more successful, I mean, people who get successful in general are taking responsibility, right? Or something happens along the way and you lose your shit and then you sabotage yourself. But like, how do we? Because people have heard that, right? It's the oldest advice given. It's maybe probably still the most important advice given.
But how do you bang up their heads, right?
Yeah, like how do the people early on their journeys actually implement that? Because I'm sure you've talked to guys in the war room the same way I've talked to guys in my mentorship who like they know that's what they should do, but they struggle, right? They still want to be upset or angry or mad rather than just looking in the mirror and be like, what do I fucking do next? Because it's on me at the end of the day.
So I think that what that comes down to is it's a lot easier to take responsibility, and it's a lot easier to listen to what other people are saying, and it's a lot easier to be graceful when you're being successful. So it's just like your YouTube channel. You have to build this kind of positive momentum. So the way I'll do that personally is if I don't feel like going to the gym, I just lie to myself and say I'm going to do one set. You know, I'm constantly saying, oh no, I'll just do this little thing. And the next thing you know, you look up 2 hours later. It's like the very practical things in your everyday life more than it is the overarching things, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that make you get in a position where you start to build a little progress. So I'd say ruthlessly look at your environment and try to eliminate anything that won't put you in the right place. Understand the people in your town have most likely not left their town and they quit developing in high school. So I'd say get around a little bit and see some things, not go be a traveler in a bunch of hostels, but like understand that there's more out there in the world and there's people that'll accept you in other places and what's in your heart, you know? And I would also say that don't assume that your passion is going to make you money and that you'll be passionate about it if you do it. Because just like training, right? Yeah. Like I like to work out. Yeah. I've not done training just because I know that I wouldn't make any money, and then I run it, and then I'm spotting people. You ever see trainers that are like on their cell phone while somebody's doing the sets?
Yeah, you know they got into it probably out of passion and think they're chasing their goals, but it's like 3 years in, man. Yeah, you're on your phone in between sets. You probably don't even care about your clients anymore.
And then, but instead of blaming themselves by not looking at their right business model, they blame the gym.
Yeah, they're not feeding me enough clients. They're paying me too small of a commission. Yeah. It's like, well, I always say this as a superpower, as a man, we all have the superpower to walk away from the situation we're in. You always have it in a relationship, in a job, with a shitty group of friends. You always have the option to walk away, and it's not something to walk around like threatening girls that you're gonna leave all the time, but it's like just knowing in like the back of your, it's hard.
No, she needs to know in the back of her mind that you can do that.
But that comes through subconsciously, right? When you have that,
for sure,
because when you know that subconsciously, you're gonna communicate differently. You're not gonna send a third text message of 5 lines because you haven't got the response, right? You don't even get to that point, and then that subconsciously communicates.
Right.
I'm not someone who's gonna stick around, not just in relationships, but in anything.
And one other part of that responsibility thing is understand that you're gonna take licks. A lot of people online, especially when you're online, we're giving our best efforts. Dude, I will take a lick today. And somewhere in America or in the islands, because we do buildings in the islands too, I'm going to lose money today. Now I'm going to make way more than I lose, but I'm going to take licks. And I took licks all the way up, like the 5 shoulder surgeries.
Yep.
You know, it's not easy. Yep. Like these things are going to happen. And so
unideal things constantly happen.
And they're going to. And you're also going to make a bunch of mistakes in life, and you're going to do stupid things. And it's because you didn't know, or that was the example you had. It doesn't mean that you're broken. You're not broken. You're just going through things, and you have to evolve. And a lot of times that evolution has pain in it and a lot of mistakes that sometimes you're even ashamed of, but it's just part of it.
There's always going to be pain, right? And there's always going to be drawbacks. And at the end of the day, I think from my experience, as long as like it's net positive, right? Like with this house we're buying here, and we're paying for it outright, and like the euro just 6 months ago, bro, the euro was in this shit, and I should have transferred a bunch of money here, and I didn't, and now it's hundreds of thousands of dollars more. But like you said, you take licks, and you say, well, hey, it is what it is.
And you can't guess the market.
No, you can't guess the market. And on average, as long as you win most things, you come out on top.
You're winning overall. Yeah. And then you're better for the next round. A lot of the scars I have make me better moving forward.
Yeah, because you learn. A lot of times I think you can't really learn lessons without pain. And that very true with dating and like getting like overly invested in girls and shit, but like even more true in business. Like once you lose, you know, 10, 20, $100,000, whatever it is, that mistake's not gonna happen again. It might happen again if someone just hey bro, you shouldn't do that. It's like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't do that. But whatever, for some reason I do it. Once the pain hits, pain's the biggest teacher, I think.
Right, for sure.
Cool, absolutely. Bro. Thank you for coming on. Any I'll link obviously all your stuff below. But anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, it's Justin Wynn Waller 7. That's just actually Wynn's just actually my middle name. I know it's weird, but it's a cool middle name to have on Instagram. And message me about joining the War Room. But more importantly, if you're a young guy and you're trying to figure out what to do with your situation, join the real world. Get in touch with me, join the real world. There's real professors in there teaching things that your teachers could never comprehend. These guys have real businesses making real money. They're real multimillionaires doing that exact business in real time, there to help you with other people. And it's the most impactful thing I've ever done. I love seeing these young guys. They're 14, 15 years old. They're getting up to 5, 10K a month, just so far ahead of where I ever could have thought I would be at that age. They're just so far ahead of me, man. I just get excited about it, seeing it. They're able to help their families. It's a beautiful thing. Join the real world if you're a young guy and you're trying to make money online. Do it immediately.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll drop all that in the description for y'all to find easily. Otherwise, thank you, brother.
Bro, enjoyed it.
Done.
Let's go lift some weights and hike.
Yeah, let's do it, man. It's going to be a long day. Long days for starting with coffee and whiskey.
That's what I told her. Is there coffee around? Can we do that?
Yeah.